Stanley Wilson. His name is etched into NFL history, not for the touchdowns he scored, but for the night he never took the field. Wilson was born on August 23, 1961, in Carson, California. A star running back at the University of Oklahoma, he entered the NFL in 1983 when the Cincinnati Bengals drafted him in the 9th round. On the field, Wilson was quick, elusive, and a valuable part of the Bengals offense, contributing to multiple playoff runs in the 1980s. But off the field, his career was shadowed by cocaine addiction. Wilson's troubles began early. He missed the entire 1985 season after his first suspension under the NFL's drug policy, and again in 1987 after a second violation. By league rules, a third offense would mean a lifetime ban. Still, he fought to return, and by the 1988 season, he was back, just in time to help Cincinnati reach Super Bowl 23. The night before the game, January 21, 1989, the Bengals gathered for their final team meeting in Miami. Wilson wasn't there. When his position coach went looking for him, he found the running back in a hotel bathroom using cocaine. It was his third strike. Overnight, his NFL career was over. The Bengals played without him and lost to the San Francisco 49ers 20-16. Wilson never returned to the league. His absence from that Super Bowl became one of the most infamous drug-related collapses in NFL history, a story of talent lost and a career destroyed in a single night. David Boston entered the NFL in 1999 as the 8th overall pick by the Arizona Cardinals after a standout career at Ohio State. At 6 feet 2 inches with exceptional speed and strength, he quickly became one of the league's most physically imposing wide receivers. By 2001, Boston delivered a career-best season, 98 catches, 1,598 yards, and 8 touchdowns, earning both Pro Bowl and All-Pro honors. But his rise was soon overshadowed by controversy. In 2003, after signing with the San Diego Chargers, his relationship with coaches soured, and injuries began to slow him down. In 2004, as a member of the Miami Dolphins, Boston tested positive for the performance-enhancing substance, HCG, resulting in a 4-game suspension under the NFL's steroid policy. That same preseason, he tore knee ligaments and missed the entire year. Attempts at a comeback faltered. In 2007, while with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Boston was arrested for DUI, and toxicology reports showed GHB in his system, a finding confirmed by a second independent lab. Combined with earlier failed drug tests for various substances, his reputation suffered beyond repair. Released from Tampa Bay and unable to secure another NFL contract, Boston's career ended abruptly at just 28 years old. Once a Pro Bowl star destined for greatness, David Boston's legacy became a stark reminder of how quickly substance abuse and poor decisions can dismantle even the most promising careers. Daryl Washington, born October 9, 1986, in Dallas, Texas, emerged as one of the NFL's most promising linebackers of the early 2000s. Drafted in the second round of the 2010 NFL Draft by the Arizona Cardinals, he quickly became a defensive cornerstone, earning second-team All-Pro honors and a Pro Bowl selection in 2012. His speed, instincts, and playmaking ability made him one of the most feared defenders in the league. But his rise was derailed in April 2013 when the NFL suspended him for the first 4 games of the season for violating its substance abuse policy. Just a month later, his troubles deepened. He was arrested in Phoenix and charged with aggravated assault and criminal trespass following an altercation with his ex-girlfriend. Washington pled guilty in March 2014 and was sentenced to 1 year of supervised probation. In May 2014, before he could return to the field, Washington was suspended indefinitely for another violation of the NFL's substance abuse policy, this time sidelining him for the entire 2014 season. That suspension stretched into 3 years, erasing his prime. When the league conditionally reinstated him in April 2017, the Cardinals cut ties almost immediately, and no other team called. From Pro Bowl linebacker to an exile from the game, Washington's career serves as a strong message that talent can open the door, but off-field choices can slam it shut forever. If you find these stories interesting, please leave a comment right now letting me know where you're watching from. I'd love to say hello to you in the comments. Dexter Manley, born February 2, 1959 in Houston, Texas, became one of the NFL's most dominant pass rushers of the 1980s. Drafted by Washington in the 5th round of the 1981 NFL Draft, the defensive end's explosive speed and relentless pursuit helped the team win Super Bowls 17 and 22. In 1986, he recorded a career-high 18.5 sacks, earning a Pro Bowl selection and cementing his reputation as a quarterback's worst nightmare. But behind the dominance was a hidden struggle. Manley had been battling a cocaine addiction since his college days at Oklahoma State. The NFL's substance abuse policy gave him multiple opportunities to seek help, yet the failed tests kept coming. In 1989, he was suspended for 1 year. After a brief return, another violation in 1991 led to a lifetime ban from the league. His final NFL game came with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1991, cutting short a career that could have been even greater. In later years, Manley openly discussed his addiction and entered rehabilitation programs, determined to rebuild his life. His story remains a warning that no amount of talent can outpace the consequences of substance abuse, and that even legends can be brought down by the battles they fight off the field. Johnny Manziel, born December 6, 1992 in Tyler, Texas, was once one of football's most electrifying prospects. At Texas A&M, he rewrote the record books, becoming the first freshman to win the Heisman Trophy in 2012. His improvisational style and highlight reel plays made him a national sensation. In the 2014 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns selected him 22nd overall, hoping his magic would translate to Sundays. But the promise derailed almost immediately. Manziel's rookie season was overshadowed by late-night partying, skipped team commitments, and mounting rumors of substance abuse. Behind the scenes, he spiraled into daily cocaine use and heavy drinking, admitting years later that he lived recklessly with little regard for the game. Reports surfaced of missed practices, public altercations, and erratic behavior, and by early 2016, his agent publicly severed ties, saying he could no longer reach him. The Browns released Manziel that March, ending his NFL career after just 2 seasons. Brief stints in the CFL and the short-lived Alliance of American Football followed, but the spark was gone. He later revealed his struggles with addiction and bipolar disorder, acknowledging how his choices destroyed his chance at a lasting career. What began as one of football's brightest stories ended as a disappointing tale of wasted talent. Ricky Williams burst onto the NFL scene in 1999 after being drafted 5th overall by the New Orleans Saints, following a legendary college career at the University of Texas, where he shattered rushing records and won the Heisman Trophy. Traded to the Miami Dolphins in 2002, he became the league's rushing champion that same year, carrying the ball with a rare mix of power, agility, and endurance. But at the height of his career, off-field issues began to overshadow his talent. In December 2003, Williams failed his 3rd NFL drug test for marijuana, triggering a 4-game suspension. Just days before the 2004 training camp, he shocked fans and teammates by abruptly retiring, walking away from millions and leaving the Dolphins scrambling. He returned to Miami in 2005, serving his suspension before reclaiming a spot in the backfield. Yet in 2006, another failed test, his 4th violation, led to a year-long suspension, costing him the entire season. Though Williams would play sporadically in later years, including stints with the Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens, the rhythm and dominance of his early career never fully returned. Once poised for a Hall of Fame trajectory, Ricky Williams' legacy remains a striking example of how substance abuse and repeated violations can derail even the brightest of NFL careers. By the way, I'm going to be posting a lot more interesting videos on the channel. I'll greatly appreciate it if you could show support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much. Martavis Bryant, born December 20th, 1991 in Calhoun Falls, South Carolina, was once one of the NFL's most electrifying deep threats. After a standout career at Clemson, where his speed and vertical ability turned heads, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected him in the 4th round of the 2014 NFL Draft. He made an immediate impact, recording 549 yards and 8 touchdowns in just 10 games as a rookie, establishing himself as a dangerous weapon in Pittsburgh's offense. But in August 2015, his momentum came to a halt. the NFL suspended Bryant for 4 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. Less than a year later, in March 2016, the league dealt a far heavier blow, an indefinite suspension that cost him the entire 2016 season after another violation. Bryant was conditionally reinstated in April 2017, and while flashes of his old brilliance returned, the consistency was gone. In 2018, traded to the Oakland Raiders, he managed just 8 games before the NFL suspended him indefinitely once again in December for failing to comply with the terms of his reinstatement. That suspension effectively ended his NFL career before he turned 28. Aldon Smith entered the NFL in 2011 as the 7th overall pick by the San Francisco 49ers, fresh from a standout career at Missouri. In his rookie season, he racked up 14 sacks, earning Defensive Rookie of the Year honors. The following year, he exploded with 19.5 sacks, a Pro Bowl selection, first-team All-Pro honors, and the fastest rise to 30 career sacks in league history. By the end of his second season, he held the NFL record for the most sacks in a player's first 2 years, 33.5 in total. But his dominance on the field was soon overshadowed by mounting legal troubles. In January 2012, Smith was arrested for DUI in Miami Beach. In September 2013, a single car accident in San Jose led to charges of DUI and marijuana possession, prompting him to enter rehab and miss games. By 2014, he faced a 9-game suspension for violating the NFL's personal conduct and substance abuse policies. In August 2015, Smith was arrested again, this time for DUI, hit and run, and vandalism, leading the 49ers to release him. The Oakland Raiders gave him another chance, but that November, the NFL suspended him for a year and he wouldn't play again for the next 4 seasons. After years away, Smith was conditionally reinstated in 2020 and signed with the Dallas Cowboys, appearing in all 16 games. But the spark of his early career was gone. Todd Marinovich was born on July 4, 1969 in San Leandro, California, into a life designed for football greatness. His father, Marv Marinovich, a former NFL lineman and strength coach, famously molded him from infancy to be the perfect quarterback. Every meal, workout, and practice was monitored. By the time he reached USC in the late 1980s, Marinovich was a national sensation, leading the Trojans to the Rose Bowl as a freshman and earning the label of America's first test tube athlete. In 1991, the Los Angeles Raiders made him the 24th overall pick in the first round. His NFL debut came with promise, throwing for 395 yards in just his second start. But behind the hype was a young man battling a long-hidden drug problem, one that had begun in high school and worsened under the pressures of his father's expectations and the public spotlight. Only months into his career, Marinovich failed his first NFL drug test. More would follow. The Raiders sent him to rehab, but in 1993, after another positive test, this time for marijuana, he was released. At just 23 years old, his NFL career was over. He tried to revive his career in the CFL and later the Arena Football League, showing flashes of talent, but drug use, now involving heroin and cocaine, kept pulling him back down. Arrests piled up over the years, from cocaine and meth possession to a highly publicized 2016 arrest in Irvine, California, where he was found naked with drugs in his possession. Eric Herman, born October 5, 1989 in Oregon, Ohio, rose from a standout career at Ohio University to the NFL's grand stage. In 2013, the New York Giants selected him in the 7th round of the draft, a late-round pick with a reputation for toughness and power on the offensive line. For Herman, it was a chance to prove himself among football's elite. That opportunity began to fade away in August 2014, when the NFL suspended him for the first 4 games of the season for violating its performance-enhancing substances policy. Reports later revealed the positive test was linked to a stimulant, one for which he lacked the required therapeutic use exemption. While the league didn't detail the substance, the suspension was public and immediate, costing him valuable playing time and momentum. The Giants waived Herman just weeks later, briefly bringing him back to the practice squad before cutting ties again in 2015. Short stints with the Baltimore Ravens and Indianapolis Colts followed, but none led to a regular season snap. In the end, a promising career that began with grit and potential ended quietly. Sam Hurd. In December 2011, in the upscale setting of a Chicago area steakhouse, 26-year-old Sam Hurd's NFL career came to a sudden and devastating halt. Born in San Antonio, Texas, in 1985, Hurd had carved out a place in the league the hard way, signing as an undrafted free agent with the Dallas Cowboys in 2006. Over 5 seasons, he became a valued special teams player and occasional receiver, earning recognition as the Cowboys' special teams captain in 2010. By 2011, he had signed a 3-year, $5 million contract with the Chicago Bears, poised for a bigger role on the field. But while his football career appeared steady, federal agents had been quietly watching him. For months, investigators suspected Hurd was orchestrating a large-scale drug trafficking operation. The sting reached its climax when Hurd allegedly agreed to buy massive quantities, 5 to 10 kilograms of cocaine and up to 1,000 pounds of marijuana every week, worth millions of dollars, claiming he already had distribution networks in place. Just hours after leaving Bears practice, he was arrested. The scandal stunned the NFL. In August 2012, his bond was revoked after repeated failed drug tests. In April 2013, Hurd pleaded guilty to conspiracy to traffic cocaine and marijuana. That November, he was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Justin Blackman. In the early 2010s, few young receivers carried as much promise as Justin Blackman. Born on January 9, 1990, in Oceanside, California, and raised in Ardmore, Oklahoma, he was one of the most dominant wide receivers in college football history. At Oklahoma State, he became a 2-time Biletnikoff Award winner and a unanimous All-American, leaving no doubt he was NFL ready. In the 2012 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars made him the 5th overall pick, expecting him to become the cornerstone of their offense. His rookie season showed flashes of greatness: 64 receptions, 865 yards, and 5 touchdowns, numbers that hinted at a superstar in the making. But trouble began before he ever took an NFL snap. Just weeks after the draft, he was arrested for aggravated DUI, blowing a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit. It was his second alcohol-related arrest, following a DUI in 2010 during college. In April 2013, the NFL suspended him for 4 games for violating the league's substance abuse policy. Later that same year, after another violation, the suspension became indefinite. Attempts at a comeback were derailed by more legal issues, including a marijuana possession arrest in 2014 and a DUI in 2015 that brought probation and community service. He never played another NFL game after 2013. In April 2025, he was arrested again, this time for public intoxication in Stillwater, Oklahoma, found passed out on campus and unable to walk without assistance. For a player once destined for greatness, the league saw only 20 career games. Justin Blackman's story became one of wasted potential, where talent was never enough to overcome the battles off the field. Josh Gordon, born April 13, 1991 in Houston, Texas, was once hailed as one of the most gifted wide receivers in the NFL. Drafted by the Cleveland Browns in the 2nd round of the 2012 supplemental draft, he wasted no time proving his worth. In just his 2nd season, Gordon exploded onto the scene, leading the league with 1,646 receiving yards in only 14 games, earning first-team All-Pro honors despite instability at quarterback. But even at the height of his dominance, his career was shadowed by a battle with substance abuse. His first NFL suspension came in 2013 for violating the league's substance abuse policy. A year later, he faced a season-long ban, later reduced to 10 games, after another violation and a DWI arrest. The pattern continued, missing the entire 2015 and 2016 seasons due to repeated failed tests. Brief comebacks followed. In 2017, he returned for 5 games with the Browns, showing flashes of his old brilliance. Stints with the New England Patriots, where he won a Super Bowl ring in 2018, and later with the Seattle Seahawks and Kansas City Chiefs, offered new beginnings. Yet each time, another suspension derailed his progress. By 2021, Gordon had been suspended by the NFL 6 times, missing over 50 games. Ontario Smith was born on December 8, 1980, in Sacramento, California. A standout running back, he began his college career at the University of Tennessee before transferring to the University of Oregon, where his speed and agility made him one of the Pac-10's most dangerous offensive weapons. In 2003, the Minnesota Vikings selected him in the 4th round of the NFL draft, and he quickly made his mark, rushing for 579 yards and 5 touchdowns as a rookie, showing flashes of a future star. But by 2004, trouble had already surfaced. Smith was suspended for 4 games for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy. Then, in May 2005, his career took a bizarre and infamous turn. While passing through security at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, he was caught carrying dried urine and a device called the Original Whizzinator, a kit designed to help players cheat drug tests. The incident became national news and cemented his reputation for poor judgment. Soon after, the NFL suspended him for the entire 2005 season due to multiple substance abuse violations. He never played another down in the league. Attempts to revive his career, including a short stint with the CFL's Winnipeg Blue Bombers, quickly fizzled. At just 24 years old, one of the NFL's most promising young running backs had watched his career vanish, not from lack of talent, but from decisions that left no way back. Matt Prader, born August 10, 1984, in Mayfield Heights, Ohio, entered the NFL in 2006 as an undrafted free agent out of UCF. After short stints with the Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins, and Atlanta Falcons, he landed with the Denver Broncos in 2007, where he became one of the league's most feared long-range kickers. In 2013, Prader earned Pro Bowl honors and set an NFL record with a 64-yard field goal, a mark that stood for years and cemented his place among the league's elite. But in August 2014, his career hit a major setback. Already in the NFL's alcohol abuse program after a 2011 DUI arrest, Prader violated league policy by consuming alcohol during the offseason. Though the league initially considered a year-long suspension, negotiations reduced the penalty to 4 games. The timing was brutal, just weeks before the season began. Denver chose not to wait. In October 2014, shortly after his suspension ended, the Broncos released him in favor of Brandon McManus. Prader quickly signed with the Detroit Lions, where he rebuilt his career and continued to produce at a high level. But that 2014 suspension remains a defining moment, a reminder that even record-setting talent can be put at risk by a single off-field decision. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot more interesting videos on the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Thank you very much.